Welcome to the Happiness and Success After Illinois Tech podcast with the Illinois Tech alumni. We're so happy you're here, and we can't wait for you to be inspired from all these real-life stories of people that attended Illinois Tech, graduated, and found success. No matter your major, your background, or where you're from, success and happiness are possible, and here are the stories to prove it. Session, everyone. My guest this week is Ameena Payne. Welcome, Ameena.
Thanks so much, Julie.
Yeah, I'm happy to meet you.
Be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. You have a very interesting background. So I'll let you introduce yourself and just tell us, where you are, who you are, and then what you studied at Illinois Tech.
All right, sure. Before I get into that, I just want to acknowledge where I'm joining from, and I'm joining from the ancestral and unceded lands of the Wurundjeri people who have stewarded these land, skies, and waterways for countless generations. And I also want to acknowledge that these lands were never ceded through treaty or agreement. And I want to acknowledge as well the historical injustices, dispossession, and harm inflicted upon Indigenous communities through colonization and systemic oppression. And I'm committed to taking meaningful action for land back to support Aboriginal self-determination and sovereignty. And I say this because true reconciliation requires more than words, but it also demands concrete steps to address the historical and ongoing injustices. And I say these things because I think being a migrant to Australia, I moved from Chicago to Australia. There was a lot of unlearning I needed to do when I arrived here. So I graduated from Illinois Tech in 2015 officially. So I actually graduated. I walked in 2014, but I had one credit left. So I did that credit. I finished that off while I was here in Australia. And I graduated with a Master of Business Administration with a specialization in marketing. I think for a long time, I thought I was quite interested in consumer behavior and marketing and kind of like the corporate, like fast-paced, like startup world. And that's where I worked in. But I found out that actually that didn't align to where I saw myself and what my values were.
So what's your undergrad in? I don't remember.
Yeah, so I got a Bachelor of Business Administration and specialize in marketing.
Okay. So when you did you always know, like in high school and then through college, business admin is what I want to do? And then you went and got your MBA. Was it all like, I'm going to keep doing it because it's aligned, or or someone just said to you, you should just do business administration? Like, did you know what kind of job you wanted to get? Or were you just like, I don't know what to study, so I'll study business admin? I'm just curious.
No, a thing. I think I kind of just fell into the business route because that's what I saw around me growing up. My dad is an accountant, and I just kind of thought like that was my like business was my interest, and it was at the time. But I took a graduate level class during my undergraduate studies at Illinois Tech. It was design thinking with Tom Tresser.
Yeah.
And Amy Sagami was a guest speaker. But anyway, that whole class changed my entire mindset of what I wanted in my life and what I thought was possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you said that, because I know what design thinking is. I learned it at one of my consulting jobs several years ago. And it was the new thing. I love that you took one thing and you're like, changed my life. And I was just talking, I just released an episode with Adam Lewis, and he was talking about, he heard a speaker, he saw something on TV about the space shuttle. It's like, it's usually just a couple of things where you're like, whoa, what is that? You never know the teacher, the class, the thing you're going to see on TV, the comment from this random person wherever you are. You just don't know what's going to spark, ignite a fire. You don't know what's going to get you super excited. You never know like what's going to change the path in your life, a person you run into. You just never know. That's what I love so much about life in general and education,
Yes.
especially because you get to
Yes.
see people saying like, all right, study this. And you might, business administration may have been a great fit, but it's like, and design thinking didn't have to be one or the other. You could just say, how am I going to bring that into what I'm already studying and then go get a job with that? But I love it because that's the whole point of getting a degree, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I think when I took that, after I took that class, I started thinking about what I really valued. And, and at the time, right, like remote work wasn't a thing, but I remember feeling like even though there's a lot of uncertainty about where I want to land, I know how I want to feel and what I want, like the architecture of my life to look like. And I knew that I wanted a job with flexibility, right? So then, fast forward, I'm now in academia, and I have that, and I have been able to have jobs that have this remote aspect and this flexibility, but I didn't know what was, I guess, possible until I took this course, and it just kind of like really opened my eyes to so many things, really.
Love it. I love it. I actually wrote a book about possibilities for that very reason, because I do believe anything's possible. And it just, like you could be can I be an NBA player right now at my age? And no, I can't. I guess it's very tiny, tiny, tiny. There's certain things just based on age and all of that stuff that aren't possible, but it doesn't mean I couldn't be involved in that in some aspect of that really got me excited, either as a volunteer or another kind of job in business or whatever. But that's why I tell students, you just don't know. And just because you don't see something as possible yet doesn't mean that you can be, maybe you're the trailblazer for it. Maybe you're just the person that's going to be the first one doing it or talking about it or creating a class about it. You just never know. I love that that's your attitude, because it's the truth. Anything really is possible. And that's why I love learning, first of all, but that's why people
Yes.
come into the school, especially because it's all about innovation and not necessarily design thinking, although there's classes probably about it, but even though those engineers, they might not be taking a design thinking class, but they're like, what am I creating? What's the prototype? What do I want to change and make better? Like, that's all what's possible. It's the same thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Okay. So you got your MBA, and then what's the work you're doing now with your MBA?
So just to clarify, I didn't get an MBA. Okay. I got a Master of Education.
Oh, I thought you said business administration. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, so I did my undergrad in business, and then I took a break, got into the workforce, came back, did my graduate studies. By then I was in Australia, and I realized that education was where I wanted to be. So I first did a grad certificate in education, learning and teaching in higher ed, which is like the first 4 units of your master's. And then I enrolled in a master's program and finished that out. And now I'm doing my PhD.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went
I have an undergrad in business and a master's in teaching. It's called Master's in Teaching.
Totally non-linear.
But yeah, same kind of thing. And then I combine the two of them, and I'm teaching in the business world. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. Okay.
I love like non-linear paths. Like I don't know. It's to me, it's interesting. It's interesting.
It is interesting. And all the people I've talked to on this podcast and on my other one that I had for 3 years, I don't even think I've met ever one person that said, oh yeah, I just decided, and then I went and did this, and now I am this. I don't think I've talked to one person that said that that's how it went for them. There's another question, or they're like took a little fork in the road, and then they may have come back, but very rarely is it linear. And which is the whole point of this podcast, because you're going to go around different places. You're going to find you just have to keep following the breadcrumbs and find the path that's right for you and follow along.
Yes.
As you're getting these signs. Yeah. Okay. All right. So when you were at Illinois Tech, did you have an internship, or did you get a job pretty quickly after? And how did that work for you? Did you have help from professors and career guidance, or was it all on you, or what'd you do?
Yeah, so I took I was working at the time. I actually worked for the business school with Professor Suzanne. Gosh, her last name escapes me, but she was really wonderful. So I did some work there. Then I did some outside work. I did also have an internship. I took advantage of the career hub and the career fairs and just kind of like shaping my CV and all of that stuff. I can't remember all of the details of it. Seems like a lifetime ago, but I do remember definitely like taking advantage of like what was available, what was on offer.
And then when you got your job, how did you get your first job out of college? Now everyone's using, of course, LinkedIn and Indeed, but for you, was it different back then?
Yeah, it definitely I don't believe that I saw my job placed online. I might have even gotten it through a connection that I made from a connection from like the career hub. So again, it was very nonlinear how I landed my job post, well, I was working in this job post or like while I was studying and then up until I like left Chicago. But yeah, I feel like a lot of things that happened for me were through the networks that I built and nurtured. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a big surprise either. A lot of especially people closer to my age will say like building your network earlier and before you need it, as opposed to like when you need it. And we tell students the same thing. Don't start getting on LinkedIn 3 months before you graduate and want to find a job. Like that's not the way to do it. Number one, you're not going to have any connections to help you network. And number two, you're going to be desperate and you're going to feel that energy is going to translate like I have to, instead of like just go slowly along, build it and take advantage of the people that are around you and that are helping you and the professors, the classmates, like you were saying, the career fair, the other events, take advantage of those connections, those things internally, and then work on the outside, the LinkedIn stuff and the bigger network, because that's where you're going to learn. And even if your opportunity doesn't come directly from a connection like that, it's someone who knows someone. You had already mentioned that, that's like 2 or 3 things in, you're like, this is how it works. And I always tell students, if you don't know, you're not making good impressions wherever you go, you're not participating, or you're not just showing up to class. When you need a favor from that professor, hey, do you know many internships? They're not going to be all that apt to help you. They're not even going to know you.
Yeah. They're not going to know. Exactly.
Make it easy on yourself and just participate and be around and engaged now. And it's going to really help you in the long run.
I think one of the things that I didn't perhaps maybe acknowledge or appreciate at the time, but it's become a big theme in my life now. And it was certainly present at the time. I guess I just didn't have I wasn't thinking about it, was just building the community building that's necessary. And I don't mean just from like like I need to get a job and I need to, like network for the sake of like getting something from someone, but just actually having people to like there to support you and to talk to you and like guide you. So I guess like mentorship is really important, really crucial. And I'm finding that like especially now as a PhD candidate, as an early career researcher, that having a strong community to uplift you and guide there's nothing more valuable, I think.
Great. It's a great lesson. What do you hope to do with your degree that you're getting now with your PhD?
That's really a good question that I really do like research. So I would like to stay in a primarily research role. But yeah, I'm keeping my eyes and ears open. I also mentor a master's student at the moment. And so that's something that I really like. So maybe a role in like research or development, or again, I don't really know what the titles are out there, but I know kind of what I enjoy, what I'm good at, what I want my life to look like. So I'm just trying to like hold things a little bit lightly at the moment.
Right. It's a great way to think of it. And I like what you mentioned about feeling how you want your life to feel and be, because that is a really great lesson for young students, especially because they say, I just want this job. It's like, what do you want the job for? What do you want? You're getting that degree and you want that job because you think it's going to make you happy in some way. What need is it going to fill, or what are you most excited about? And that's the kind of stuff you want to focus on, because you could get that job and it's like, oh, you got the data analyst job you wanted. How do you like, well, I don't like it. I don't like the culture. I don't like this. It's not flexible, whatever. You have to be thinking about all of those things, not just the actual job. And you're number one, your search will be easier because you'll be more clear on what you want, and it'll be easier to get it, to attract it, to invite it in, right? And then it also will help you figure out what you really want when you're deciding. Do you want to be in an environment where everyone's collaborating and talking? Do you want to work on your own and just write and research or whatever, and then just submit things and then have people review them? Like, there's two totally different things. But if you know what it is that you're going for and the way you want to feel when you're at work, it's going to be a lot easier for you when you're searching, instead of just like, I'll just take whatever. Yes. It's like, no,
exactly.
Clear. Yep. There's too many.
You get crumbs.
Yes. No one knows what to give you, what you want. If you don't know what you want, how are other people going to be like, yeah, I have something for you? You have to be clear. Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of students will say that. They'll be like, I'm confused. I want this, but other people are saying I should have that. I'm like, well, that's not confusion. You know what you want. You're just hearing other people say, I don't know if you can get it, or
Yes.
I'm like,
yes. That resonates. That resonates so much, Julie. Like what I was saying earlier about, really wanting, wanting this flexibility, thinking that remote work was possible. Everybody told me at that time, you're not going to find anything like that. That's not a thing, And so it's really interesting what you're saying. People will limit you based on their, and I think sometimes people do it because they think that they're being helpful.
Yeah. Don't get your hopes up. Yeah.
But I think also, it's really important to not take on the constraints that others are placing on.
Yeah. And you can politely say, thanks, I'm going to try it anyways, or I'm sorry that was your experience. I'm hoping that's not going to be mine, or I'm going to go for it anyways, and we'll see. Because just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not possible, like I said. But also that person is just, they think they're being helpful, but really they're like, it didn't work for me, so it's probably not going to work for you. And that's not true either. So I always say, go to the people that are helping you figure it out, and stay away from the people that are telling you it's not possible, because it's not true. It's not true.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, is there anything you wish, when you're thinking about Illinois Tech and your education, is there anything you wish you'd known sooner, considering your career or education at Illinois Tech, or done sooner, or known sooner?
Yeah, I think so. I always thought I was really bad at math. And I really struggled. I struggled through math. That was the credit that I had to finish. And turns out I wasn't bad at math. It was the way that it was being taught didn't resonate for me. It took a really long time for me to like go to the ARC and get tutoring help. Once I found a tutor I found a really fantastic tutor who just explained things to me in a way that really stuck. So I think I wish in some ways that like in hindsight that I had asked for help sooner, and not kind of, again, like taken on these constraints that I put on myself, but also because I was getting feedback that like, oh, you're not good at this. So I was really embodying that and thinking like, oh wow, I am just like really dumb at this particular thing.
It's too bad.
And I think now, I'm really good at asking for help, and also understanding like where my weaknesses are as well, but also just not taking that on, like not having that be a personal shortcoming. I think
great way of looking at it. And like I struggled to, in my marketing degree, I had to take 2 accounting classes. The first accounting class I got a D. I mean, I barely passed. And then I said, well, I have to take another one, and the next one is more advanced. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go. And I told my kids the same thing: go find someone that knows it's getting an A, and it's like breezing by, they're not even studying. Sure enough, it happened to be someone I went to high school with. I'm like, can you please help me? Like, and he helped me. He's like, this is how I do it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And same thing, the teacher was really good, because I got an A, almost A+ the next time I had to take it.
Wow.
Second accounting class, same teacher. So she was doing well. I just didn't, it was management accounting and then another type of accounting. And I got it the second time way better, but I had that tutor, but it was also the way he was explaining, and it was a little bit different in accounting class. So all of those things together were me saying, I have to pass this. It's just two classes in my degree. I'll get it.
Yeah.
I didn't like, no, I'm probably an AB student. I'm not like a straight A student, but I'm like, I learned quickly, and it was bugging me that I couldn't. Like, I'm just going to go find
Yes.
who just is acing it without any effort. That's what I need. How do you think about it? Because that person acing it thought about it a different way than I did, and the teacher, and
Yeah.
there's probably another person getting an A who had another way that they learned, taught themselves or learned or whatever. So I taught my kids who are in college out and still in college, the same thing. Like, go to the people that you're looking over them, you're kind of annoyed that it's coming so easy. They don't even show up, and then they ace the exam and they're like, what the heck? I've been here every class. I still don't get it. I'm like,
Yes.
those are the people you go to because there's something that clicked with them. It's not clicking with you. It's okay. You
Yeah.
don't know it yet. It might not click. It hasn't clicked yet.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's okay. And maybe it's going to click a little, and I got an A, and I don't want to even look at another accounting class. I did what I needed to do, and I got through it. And with the help of someone else, you said, that's the lesson. Ask someone else and be open to it, because it doesn't have to be a struggle. And especially
Yes.
a place like Illinois Tech, there's always resources for you. People want to help. They want you to be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great
Absolutely.
lesson. I love that. I love that. Okay, final question for you. What's the best piece of advice you can offer either college students or people just graduating and looking for a job? Just, they're starting their career, they're not sure what they want to do. What would you say to them? It's tough thinking about all the advice.
It is tough. I would say, you don't have to grind yourself down. And to look after yourself first and foremost. Nothing's more important than your health. So slow down. It's okay to, I think, I'm trying to make this a succinct
Okay.
piece of advice. I think there's a lesson in communicating effectively so that you can rest and really like advocate for yourself. So I guess I'm thinking about like feeling like you need to do everything and say yes to everything. So I would say, all right, my piece of advice would be it's okay to say no. And when you say no, that is a full sentence. You don't have to justify it. And in saying no, you are often opening yourself up to something, another opportunity, or an opportunity for you to rest.
I love that. Maybe that will be the title of the podcast. It's okay to say no, because I think especially women, we think we have to say yes. I just know it. I'm married to a man. I have 2 boys as sons, and it's just not just culturally in general. It's just always we're raised to please. We have more of that people pleaser in us. It's not as accepted, like we're being difficult if we say no, but men can just say no and they're not being difficult at all. So it's been this way forever. It's not a new thing. Anyone in corporate America will tell you this, who's been around it all, and I'm sure even college students. So I think it's an important lesson. I'm glad you brought it up, because we're not taught it early enough. Usually we're learning it in our 40s and 50s. And it's way too late, because you've already done way too many things. Either you've gotten sick because you said yes too many times, or you did things you didn't want to do. You sacrifice other people. You sacrifice your health, like you said, and then you sacrifice your important relationships for the people in your life that are actually caring, and it matters to say yes to. You're saying yes to the wrong people or the wrong things, and now you can't have these other things in your life. And I love that you said it could be an opening for an opportunity, or it's just no, because you need to rest, and that's okay too. I love that you brought that up. That's a great way to end it, because it's such a positive thing to hear and to learn early for your career and for your life. Awesome advice. Thank you. I'm glad we waited. It's like you wanted to talk about the grind. You mentioned the grinding down, but really grinding down is just giving everything you have, and then you have nothing left for yourself and your health. So that's where you were going anyways. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's something that, and I think also just especially, like the US, there's like a real fetish with like grinding, right? And having like side hustles and
Yeah.
like, yeah. And so just really learning to untether from that has been a real process, but something that has just been so incredible for me, for my like quality of life, my mental health, my physical health. Yeah, so I think that all ties into like the saying no and the resisting, like the saying yes to everything.
I love that. I love that. And resisting saying yes. It's okay to say no. Resist saying yes. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that and learn about you or connect with you from Illinois Tech?
Yeah, I'd love to connect with folks. Email is best, and my email is amina.payne@deakin.edu.au.
Awesome. And can they connect with you on LinkedIn like we teach them too?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
I am on LinkedIn. It's not a
Okay.
platform that I use
Okay.
a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm there. I'll check it occasionally.
Okay, I'll let them know. Thank you. It was so nice to meet you and chat with you. And I know you're going to be, I know you're going to inspire some men and women at our university when they hear your story. So I really appreciate it. And I love talking to people that are doing cool things and have cool
Thanks.
lessons to share. So thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
All right,
Can
take
I just
care.
add one thing
Yes,
to
yes, yes,
you?
please.
I just wanted to say that when you reached out a while back, in that particular time frame that you reached out and you're like, oh yeah, I'm, the Happiness and Success podcast. At that time, I think I had been rejected for like 3 things that I like bursaries and things that I had applied for in my like in my academic role. And so I was feeling very like
How am I going to talk about
like
this? Yeah.
yeah. So it was very funny that like that you thought of me, and then it also helps me reframe like the rejection as well. It's like, it's okay to be rejected from things. It's a redirection, and also it's fine. It's part of life. But it was I guess it was a good timing as well to remember that like, yeah, I got rejected, but like I do feel like I am happy. I do feel
Exactly.
successful.
It's awesome. Yeah. You can still be happy and successful with rejections. I'm going to close
Yes.
with the quote because, like you said, that the no wasn't meant for you. So the quote is, I wish I knew where I read it, but I put it in my phone. If something is meant for you, it will never pass you by. So I say that to students. They're like, I'm not getting the job. And I said, there's something even better on the horizon. This was good practice for you. It wasn't meant for you. If it's meant for you, you'd have it. You don't have it for a reason. I know it's good to be liked and people want to be accepted and you want the offer, even if you don't want to take it. It's not meant for you. And so if it was, it would pass you by. So it's a beautiful lesson. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for the quote.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's stay in touch, and I'm excited to hear what people think about your podcast. So let me know, and when it gets on, you'll know about it, and you'll hear from me after this too.
Thanks, Julie.
All right.
Take care.
Bye, everyone. Take care. Thanks for listening, everyone. Check out the Illinois Tech Connect platform. It's the official networking site for Illinois Tech alumni. It's operated by Illinois Institute of Technology Alumni Association with help from Career Services. The aim of the platform is to connect our entire alumni community to provide a space for communication, networking, and other opportunities. Also, join the Illinois Tech Career Services group on LinkedIn and learn about all things career related. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Finally, as an alum, whenever you need career guidance or advice, you're always welcome to connect to the Career Services Department, make an appointment with a career coach, and take advantage of this lifelong resource available to all alumni. We can't wait to help you, and more importantly, we can't wait to see what you do.